In today's Tales from My Table, we're going to talk about what kind of RPG player are you? And also, what are your players? And why it's important. So, welcome to Tales from My Table. In the book by Robin Law, he breaks down players into 7 different archetypes. Those 7 are the butt kicker, the casual gamer, the method actor, the power gamer, the specialist, the storyteller, and the tactician. And I think those 7 are actually pretty accurate. I think you can put everybody in each one of those segments pretty easily. But I also think it's a lot. I think it's sometimes hard to figure out exactly what to go into. And so in my own head, I broke everyone down into 2 categories: combat junkie and the role-playing actor. And I feel like everybody can fit in those 2 things. Well, at least they used to. Because combat junkies are all about the fighting, about the tactical combat, the strategy. They're all about thinking outside of the box to do cool combat things, or to use all of their abilities to kick the most butt. And then you have the roleplay actor, that person that is all about the story and the arc and his inner fulfillment and to have inner character interaction and like all that kind of stuff, right? So I thought those were basically it. I thought you could pretty much sort everyone out into one of those 2 groups. But recently I found a 3rd group, and I've decided to call them mechanic fiends. And the reason I call them that is because they're the players that really love to create characters. Like, they want to use all of the rules to create the most interesting character. And notice I said interesting and not best or min-maxed or anything like that, because that's usually not what it's about. Those people that just are min-maxing their character, those are the combat monsters. That's their own deal. The mechanical fiends, they want to use the rules in the most fullest sense to make a character that they directly pulled out of their head. So, to give you for instance, one of them I was talking to told me that he wished he could take less attribute points. And not to add more into another one, but just less, so that he had something more mechanical to work with his role-playing. And I thought that was super interesting because it really felt like a merge of the 2 groups. I don't know if it's the best option. I think it's just different. I don't think there is a best option. But anyway, these mechanical fiends, they love the rules. They love digging into it. They love figuring it out. And they're just different than everyone else I've worked with. The question comes up, why do we need to know? Why do we need to know what our players are? Which of those 7, or the 3 in my case, why do we need to know? Well, let me give you an example. If you have a combat heavy player, he loves that tactical combat. You run 3 games without a combat, 3 sessions, he's not going to be having a good time. Let's flip that. So you have a roleplay actor, and you run 3 games where they don't meet anybody, any NPCs. You don't give them anything for their character. It's just kind of a dungeon crawl. They're not going to have any fun either. And what about the mechanical fiend? Well, mechanical fiends build their characters to work within the rules. So let me give you an example. In my games, I hate passive perception. I feel that perception should either be active or passive, and not both. Either it's just a stat on your sheet, and I tell you what you see or you don't, or you roll for it. I don't like the both thing. It gets annoying, at least for me. But to a mechanical fiend, he may have taken a feat so that he had super high passive perception. So all of a sudden he comes to my game, I never even ask anyone's passive perception, and he feels like he was gypped. Like my game robbed him of some of his agency or the things that he loved about the game. When we run our games, we need to know what to give our players so that they have a good time. Find the things they want and give it to them. The other question I want to talk about, what kind of gamer are you? Because, are you ready? Are you ready, DMs? I'm going to blow your mind right now. Here it comes. You need to have fun too. Yeah. Having fun is part of the reason we play this game. And some people say that, oh, the DM has all the control, they're God, blah, blah, blah. That is their fun. I think there's a very small amount of DMs that really DM just because they are on a power trip or are a controller. I think most of the time we do it because there's certain aspects of the game we like. Personally, I love putting problems in front of my characters and watching how they solve it. I think that's fascinating. Other people love combat too. They love the mechanical fighting and the tactical things to make their players have a hard time. Others love role-playing their characters out. They love having the deep, in-depth conversation or using funny voices or whatever. So you need to figure out what you want as a DM and have enough in there to also make it fun for you. It isn't just about your players. Yes, it is about them. Yes, you should be doing everything you can to make sure they have a good time, but not at the expense of your own. Let's be honest. As most DMs, our groups are mixed. Most of our players are a mix of the three. And you know that as long as you keep a fairly balanced game, one combat per session, some role-playing, a little bit of mechanic stuff, they're happy. At least someone is at any given time. It's like giving people the spotlight. You give them that moment of that they're going to have a good time in that game. What if it's not? What if you have 5 combat-heavy players and you're this lone role-playing DM and that's what you want to do? Well, you can try a couple things. One, you can try to add role-playing in slowly into the game and seeing if you can draw out your players. And that's super cool. It can take time and you can also alienate some of your players. But it also can work. Or you might have to look for a new group. In some areas in the world, it's hard to find a gaming group. It's hard to find an RPG group. You may only have a group of people that you meet at your local neighborhood game store, and you don't really know them on a social level, but they come every week and they're willing to play. And maybe you don't mesh with that group, but it's the only game that you have, so that's what you feel like you have to do. I'm here to tell you, you don't. You don't just have to play with people you don't like how they play. The internet's a big place nowadays. With looking for groups on Reddit or on the LFG section of Roll20, there are places out there you can meet people. There's meetups on Facebook. There is different groups. There is a million podcasts and things with Discords that you can connect with people on. Is it easy? No. Straight up not. It really isn't, but it's possible. Find out what you like and build your group accordingly. Trust me, you're going to have a really great time doing it. Well, I think that's all I have to say about that. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you feel that you can break everyone down into those 3 groups I mentioned, or do you think you need the 7 from Robin? Or do you think that grouping players into categories isn't beneficial and that there's other ways to run a good game? You tell me. I'd love to hear your comments. Comment down below. If you like what I do, please like, click, subscribe, bell, all that kind of stuff. Share if you really think it's cool. And also down below you'll find my Twitch link. I'm going to be trying to do Twitch more and more lately, so we'll see what happens. I kind of bounce around between games. Anyway, thank you for watching, and have fun games. Bye.